Hi everybody, and welcome back to our 6th episode of our Tech Unveiled Cloud RAN series. This is where we invite our experts to share their unique insights on new technologies. I'm Sten, and I'll be your host today. So, over the past episodes, we have discovered many perspectives of Cloud RAN. Today, we are going to look more deeply into how to manage and orchestrate a Cloud RAN network. We've got two guests to help us with this and uncover the topic. So let's begin. Pedro Sousa, Cloud RAN Strategic Product Manager at Business Area Networks. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Thomas Kinnman, Head of Solution Line OSS at Business Area Digital Services. So welcome to you too.
Thanks for having me.
Throughout these series, we have discussed many angles of Cloud RAN, right? And it's now time to tie it all together. What would you say are the main challenges from a management and orchestration perspective as we introduce Cloud RAN?
I think when we are introducing Cloud RAN, the service providers will have to evolve their existing ways of managing and orchestrating their network and the services for two main reasons. First one being, now there will be a mix of the traditional, physical network functions.
Yeah.
We are introducing new virtual network functions, but we're also introducing cloud-native network functions. Mm-hmm. All of these network functions will run in different parts of the network, in the edge cloud, in the central, and in between. And they all need to be managed now in a new way, a much more dynamic way. So that's the first complexity. Secondly, there will be more and more advanced services running on this new sophisticated network. For example, network slicing. And network slicing demands a better control and a better understanding of that network. So to summarize, the most important key challenge here is how do we help the service providers to manage this growing complexity, while at the same time deliver on the increased promises of decreasing the time to market for launching new services, improving the end user experiences for these services, while at the same time now also fulfilling the increasingly demanding service level agreements that are coming from enterprises that are using the new 5G services.
So Thomas, can you talk me through which are the key capabilities that are needed to tackle these challenges?
I think the first key capability is that the service providers will need an efficient solution to handle the end-to-end lifecycle management of all these new hybrid network functions and advanced services. That's the first one. Yep. Secondly, service providers need to introduce more and more automation to cope with this growing complexity. And to achieve a high degree of automation, you will also be needing AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning much more. You need to leverage that much more, together with more advanced policy management. And in Ericsson, when you combine those two together, we talk about intent-based AI ML.
So to summarize, we can say we see a growing complexity in the networks, and the best way to handle it is to introduce more automation and use artificial intelligence and machine learning to speed it up.
That's right.
And Pedro, which are the most important building blocks for this new generation management and orchestration?
Well, Sten, let us start by looking at an architecture picture that we have shown before.
Yeah.
In here, we have three main building blocks. The first one that is service management and orchestration. That is the framework that gets all the different components together. Secondly, we have the non-real-time RIC that provides the platform for the different RAN applications. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, we have the different interfaces that allow us and define how the different applications interact with the RAN functions. Now, all of these components are part of the platform, and the success of it is going to be measured not only by the way they manage and optimize the network from a quality of experience perspective, but also how it can be integrated with the current systems.
And in the previous episode, we covered the non-real-time RICs, but from a functional perspective. Mm-hmm. So from a management and orchestration perspective, what role will it play there?
Yes, Sten, it plays an important role. If you look at the non-real-time RIC, it provides a platform to host all the different applications that are going to act across RAN, core, and transport. Yep. And these applications are going to generate policies and network optimization outcomes so that in the end, all of us benefit from it. The other point I would like to focus is from an innovation perspective, the SMO is going to expose the network capabilities to these applications so that they can cooperate and collaborate to achieve new business outcomes. And finally, the non-real-time RIC needs to be flexible, aware, and secure. It needs to be flexible enough to foster innovation, It needs to be aware of the network behavior, and it needs to be secure, since it provides access to the operator's network and all its data pools.
So Thomas, listening to all that Pedro went through, how will this automated platform then foster innovation?
Good question. Let's go back to the picture we had before, where we have actually added a couple of key capabilities. But before going into those, I just want to say that traditionally, the service management and orchestration layer has mainly been focused on doing more OpEx efficiency. But that is about to change now. As Pedro said, now it's becoming an enabler for new innovations as well. I mentioned here previously that artificial intelligence, machine learning is key to achieve automation, but it's also key to accelerate innovations. With this more sophisticated network and the services, you need to understand the new type of insights of that. And artificial intelligence will be key because it's close to impossible for us human beings to understand what's in there. So you will need AI ML to reveal those insights, expose them to the different RAN applications to drive new innovative use cases. Secondly, key for innovation is openness. Openness both when it comes to embracing standards, openness when it comes to leveraging open source software in the platform, as well as openness when it comes to enabling an ecosystems where customers and partners can bring in innovation and help us accelerate it.
Thank you, Thomas. Okay, coming back to you then, Pedro. What is the connection between the R apps, running on the non-real-time RIC, and Cloud RAN?
Oh, good question, Sten. So Cloud RAN is where all of this becomes very interesting. If I give you a few examples, starting with a really cool one, we can now use artificial intelligence and machine learning to better understand where the different RAN functions shall be located across the network. Most important of all, we can then be able to reconfigure the network dynamically so it fits the different business needs at any given point in time. If I give you a more pragmatic example around automation, Sten, we can talk about canary upgrades, which is the ability to deliver small chunks of the software, upgrading the network functions throughout the network with a lower risk. And this allows us to have a faster time to market for new offerings.
I see. So in short, our next generation management and orchestration is going to be able to do a lot more than previous generations.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
All right, so finally, Thomas, what does Ericsson bring to the table, management and orchestration-wise in a Cloud RAN world?
Good question. First, we are a leading supporter in several of the key open source initiatives like ONAP and ORAN. That's the first one. Secondly, we have, through the leadership in radio, in core, but also in OSS, we have the unique experience how to develop, how to deploy, but also how to manage the new advanced services running in an end-to-end 5G network. That will, of course, be deployed fully cloud native. And that is already happening in the 5G core world, where we are deploying it right now. So we have the unique experience from that. So I would say that puts us in a very good position to deliver this new next generation service management and orchestration platform needed for the service providers to simplify the growing complexity with more and more automation, but also to accelerate innovation.
All right. With that, I'd like to thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
And you guys, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you learned as much as I did. And if you'd like to read up even more, there is, of course, a blog post on this topic. So in the next episode of Tech Unveiled, we are going to see how Ericsson spectrum sharing can be seamlessly combined with Cloud RAN. Quite intriguing, right? So stay tuned. I hope to see you then, and goodbye.